Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Vectoscaler Tech Talk Show. In this episode, we are going to share something unique. As we all know that we talk about the great products, great application, but how to build a great high performing team, which is usually behind these great products. So to discuss that, we have an amazing speaker with us, Mr. Anurag Singh, who is going to talk about building high performance software teams today on our Vectoscaler Tech Talk Show. Welcome, Anurag, to the show.
Thank you, Vikas, for having me, and hello, everyone.
Thanks again. And for the audience, it is important that you know about his journey, the amazing journey that he had. Anurag Singh is a seasoned engineering leader with over 17 years of experience, specialized in developing cutting edge cloud solutions, ensuring data security, and implementing robust DevOps practices. He has led team of over 40 engineers to deliver data security solutions leveraging expertise in C, Golang, microservices, along with Java, C Sharp, automation, and cloud infrastructure. His passion for technology is complemented by a proven track record in project management, team leadership, and fostering innovation. He is enthusiastic about driving excellence in every project, ensuring scalable, reliable, and high performing services. He spearheaded high level product design and architecture, setting up technological vision of successful project execution. He has intensive experience in collaborating seamlessly with cross functional collaboration, team of product management, and customer service to define roadmap and release plan. So we have Mr. Anurag to share his experience that how to build high performance team. So Anurag, I think you have an amazing journey. And to begin with, we were just discussing about that you have had a closure experience of working in South as well as the North of India, right? So probably out of that context, I had this thought that what is the cultural difference from the technology perspective? If we talk about the engineers, is there any difference between working culture in the South versus the North of India, or it's the same?
Sure, Vikas. And first of all, I'm flattered with the introduction, so thank you. I just realized with all the content, so
It's
I'm
your
very
journey.
flattered. All right. So on the south part and north part, I think the answer is yes and no both. So engineer is really engineer everywhere, not just India, even across the globe. So I experienced that part. Even if you don't know the language, even if you don't understand the emotion or the jokes for each culture, still that mindset of that engineer, I found it really the same. Why no? It's like in the cultural differences or how they are brought up. Every individual has a different perspective of looking at things, and that's the exposure or diversity that makes a thought process difference, and probably to innovate as well. So yeah.
Thanks for sharing that part. Now, talking about the high performing team, so vaguely we all understand the importance of high performing team, but can you just explain us and help us understand what is the importance of a high performing team in software development?
Sure. And rather than just important, I would say in my experience, I found it is really crucial to have that high performing team, majorly due to uh, one reason or two. First part is that when a team is self organized, they become more agile. They start delivering a high quality product or high quality solution faster. Also at the same time, they are able to adapt quickly to the marketing or changing requirements from the market. So that is the major factors that we need the high performing team. Otherwise it becomes a extra lead time to provide any adaptation to be done. Yeah. And second part is they can also innovate together once they have achieved a basic level of expertise they have together as a team. Now they can start exploring on what the world really needs in whatever expertise or skills we are working on. A great example I can say that probably is Spotify. So Spotify actually uses a autonomous squad as a term. So and they really innovate very fast. And we can see today that Spotify is a very recognized process oriented company who had many examples of creating process to create high performing teams. So that fascinates me sometimes.
Okay, that's interesting. Could you brief us more about the automation squared that you just talked about? What is the concept, and so that people, if they want, they can understand and adopt it better?
Sure. So in Spotify, so it started with a process. We have agile methodology, so which creates a normal mindset that we need to be more adaptive. We do things on iterative basis. So this was considered as a base to define their automation squared in Spotify, and now their process has it was taken to another level, that a self-organized team can be created, and the squad is really responsible for the complete solution without any supervision from above. So they learn together, they communicate as a team, and there are different diverse the people from the different diversity comes together. So even if a new idea generation has to happen, they are autonomous on their own to really make the solution happen. So
Okay, that thanks for explaining that part. And for the audience, I'm sure you must have also your individual experiences of working in a team. So do ask your questions in the chat box below, and I'll be taking up them gradually with Anurag. Yeah, and Anurag, as we were talking about the importance of high performing team, I think that led me to there is a statement by Sam Altman from OpenAI that for an entrepreneur or the tech leader, probably a major task is to build the team, is to build that technical team. So building that technical team that can deliver a product is the major task. It seems like we are building the product, but internally it is the building the team that can deliver the product is the major task. So I
absolutely.
think, yeah, it synergizes. So as a engineering leaders, what are the factors that one should keep in mind while building a high performing team? How to turn that science, that aspiration and inspiration into step by step science?
All right. So yeah, so majorly it turns down. So I'll try to answer it in two different uh, areas. So from a perspective
Sure.
of a team member, so majorly what any team member, what I found in my experience, what they majorly look for are three things. So first one is the purpose, why actually they are coming to office and trying to do something what they are doing. uh, Second part is if they are really interested and passionate about that purpose, they will try to grow mastery on it, so that they can really show their mastery. And the last part is they grow autonomy. So they are not looking for somebody to tell them what needs to be done, rather than they autonomously tell the world that this is how it is supposed to be done. So that's one factor which every individual who is working, having a job, or trying to do solve any problem really do needs. On the factors, as an engineering leader, I just need to support these three things, and it works out. So what I focus on normally is, very first part is trust or psychological safety. So team member, either I'm starting with a fresh team, or I'm growing a new team. So trust is the first factor, because whatever I say to them, they need to feel safe and express their idea and opinions better. So I think that is the number one thing, that is the base from where we start from. Once we are there, next part is we have a clear goal understanding or vision understanding. That probably right way to say is, we should be able to answer the question why. So if we are able to establish that shared objective from top down, so that will help us, any engineer, to work and lead us that path. And the last part would be continuous learning, because nobody is an expert, and with the growing technology and growing challenges and competition, there is always a scope to take it one level up and be top notch. So I think, yeah, that really engages the people and help them tackling new challenges and whatnot. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that sounds logical. Now talking about I had a cross question about when you mentioned trust, that you need to make them feel safe. No, it seems like to me that it is easier said than done. But how to do it? How to make my team member feel safe? They are in job, so one assumption could be they are already safe. But if we look at the startup world, especially in the product companies where hiring and firing is happening most of the time, it is like a cycle. So how to actually make somebody, by saying that okay, you feel safe, you are safe in my team, can I say that? Or how to make them feel safe? It may be a novice kind of question, I'm just probably, but that came to me.
No, very rightly said. And like you said, it is easier said than done, because there is no guru mantra or a pill to say that now you can trust me. So, and you cannot even spell it out and say that you should trust me and it will happen. So, yeah, it happens with really genuinely being interested in the team or a team member, rather than just trying to fake it. So that's how it starts. So I can take an example from my journey. So in my journey, I was asked to create a team. So I got one or two, three folks in my group, and the very first thing I said that I am not really the expert in this area. I would need your support. And can I claim or challenge the senior management that okay, I'll be able to pick this job with the team I have. Would you support me on that? So that creates a connection that this guy is not here to teach me anything, rather than he's expecting something we should do together. So some small things like that really create that impact, that connection among the people, and that's where it starts from. So yeah.
Yeah, and that answers the question. So it's not just about saying things, you have to fundamentally believe in the same. So if I fundamentally believe that okay, my team can do the work, then only I even show the gesture. But if I'm not believing in that part in my heart, but just saying because it is being told that is a best practice to say that I trust you, it will not work. They will somehow feel that that trust is not there, right? Yeah.
Absolutely, yes.
It makes sense. Okay. Now I have one question in the pipeline. So before taking up my question, let me pick it up. And it is from Pankaj Singh Negi, who is asking how to develop effective communication between the members of team in order to increase their performance. Like what are the key steps?
Okay, so yeah, what I think is effective communication. First, we need to identify, uh, is that whatever we are having right now, is it not effective? So that's the place we identify what are the gaps. So, for example, if people are hesitating to share their opinion, that would be the root cause of somebody not be able to communicate. So that's bring back to our psychological safety concern. But if everybody is the expert in the team, it depends on the team, right? So if everybody is expert in the team, probably they really want them to succeed and not everybody else. So it is now a team problem which needs to be addressed. And if it is a global team, so yeah, there are many factors. So if it is a global team, try to use more virtual tools like Slack or Jira to keep yourself updated, so that chat keeps going on rather than you spend time in the nights to communicate. So yeah, there are
Okay.
many ways we can follow that. Yeah.
Yeah. So as I understand that depending on the whether it is a local team or a distributed team, use the tools. But one of the litmus test could be that are people sharing their thought? If people are somehow not sharing their thoughts and ideas in the group meeting, which shows an indication that there is some active action required to bridge the gap between the team. Yeah. Thanks for answering that. Thanks, Pankaj, for asking the question. I hope your question is answered. I have another question coming from Bhavna Mia, who is asking, how can we effectively balance the dynamics between high performing and average performing team members to ensure a cohesive team environment while still promoting individual growth and performance?
So
It should be clear that it is coming from someone really having the experience of leading a team.
right, I really like the interest behind the question. So thank you, Bhavna, for raising this. So dynamics between high performing and average performing teams. So when we say high performing team, it doesn't really mean that every individual in the team is a big shot or expert or really a specialist in what they do. What it means is the team is high performing, so they understand each other's strengths and each other weaknesses, and uh, give them the support wherever needed. So for example, if I am working in a team as a developer but I don't know how to do a QA better or automation better, so my team is there to support me on that, and they will just cash on my development expertise. So my team will still be high performing, irrespective of whether I am lacking on something, I have a weak point. So that's how the balance works out. Yeah.
And how do you maintain that, because it's not just about the high performing team and the average team, it's about the members in the same team. So there is a member who is a high performing team member and another may not be performing at that level. So how do we maintain that balance, that okay, they are working together but still we need to give due credit or performance incentive to the person who is doing well? So how do you maintain that balance? It's tricky, but yeah, how it is done.
Right. And so, as rightly pointed out, so even if we have weak areas and weak people with some weaknesses, there is a saying called appreciate in public and give feedback in private. So if the project really need that expertise from the team, so we should really highlight that and support the person. So even uh, to have a high performing team, the senior members or the expert member, their one job becomes that they should share their knowledge or mentor people who are lacking, and that's how it gets supported out. If the question is how the evaluation things will work out, definitely it will be based on performance, and that's how it is taken care. But it is really a short term thing we are looking forward. If any individual is trying to grow in their field, it is just about the time. Somebody do it in 6 months, somebody can take a year, and it eventually turns well. So yeah.
Yep. Okay. Then that makes sense. Thanks for answering that question. I have another question coming from Simple Setia, who is asking, how should lead prevent burnout while still maintaining on time high quality deliveries?
So, one liner answer is try to work on your estimates better. So, burnout normally happens when we are trying to do something which is committed at an early date, because nobody in the world, uh, not nobody, but yeah, almost nobody in the world is expecting you to a low quality thing to be delivered in a faster time. So what it means is they are expecting you to challenge back if there are some concern or caveat that needs to be taken care, and you should be allowed to have more time. Normally burnout happens in that condition, that we are not able to estimate things properly. uh, there are another reason for burnout is if we are given something in the production or something out, and that is dead on arrival or really causing production issues. But I think that is really rare if we keep working on our high quality deliveries. So that becomes really rare. And I've seen this working out in the long term. So yeah, that's how burnout can be managed, I think.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks. I think it reminds me of a session that was related to Ayurvedic treatment, and somebody told that in Ayurvedic, most of the time we are not getting the emergency care. It's mostly the day-to-day things, but for the emergency, you have to go to allopathy center. And the teacher said beautifully that if you take care on a daily basis, your chances of emergency will reduce drastically. the chances of emergencies are increasing, the number of emergencies are increasing because on daily basis things are not taken care properly.
Great analogy. Yes, absolutely. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, so I have another question coming from Amit. Probably your topic is generating quite good lot of interest in people. It's coming from, they are seeing this happening day to day lives. An engineer can understand, a lead can understand that how things are working. So Amit is asking, what process do you follow for onboarding new member to quickly integrate them into a high performing team?
Okay, so what we have done, and we have struggled and failed a lot to reach this point. But yeah, my suggestion would be, uh, the onboarding is the first thing for any high performing team to really have a defined structure to have onboarding in the team. So what we do is we already have a set of a buddy system. So whenever somebody is trying to get on board, we start even pre-hire. So somebody joined in, so manager normally calls him before to help him understand what the culture looks like and all that. And once he's in the team, there is a defined structure, not just the knowledge sharing aspect, but also the culture sharing aspect, that what are our working agreements, how a normal code review works out, so that it doesn't get really a surprise. I've seen lot of failure, like I said, that after 6 months a new joinee, either a fresher or a lateral hire, they struggle that I didn't knew I was supposed to send it out for review. I was like, okay, uh, so probably onboarding was the problem. Yeah.
Yeah, I think in your conversation, you are subtle, in the subtle manner sharing the pearls of wisdom. So you talked about beautifully that knowledge sharing also require cultural sharing. So probably because usually the KT is the common term that knowledge transfer happens, where people will typically talk about, okay, this is the GitHub, this is the Git, this is the URL, these are the accesses, and so you transfer the knowledge but not the culture, that what is the culture of working in the high performing team. Probably we need a little master class only on that topic. What do we mean by cultural sharing? But in the interest of time, let's park it for some other time. I have another question coming from Abhiraj Washne, who is saying, what techniques have you seen work best in fostering a culture of collaboration and continuous improvement within teams?
All right. For me, and currently I also have like leading the leaders. So I also some leader trying to do that. So what I tell them is, don't take that burden just on yourself. So team is there to help. So because we are not working with childrens, everybody who we work with are adults. They know, and uh, if we ask them, they will have a better plan to have that culture of collaboration better. And with iterative retrospectives or team meetings, so as a normal process, we do monthly team meetings where we don't talk about our assignments. We normally talk about how our team is doing and what is the next path for our team. So once that clarity and checkpoint keeps on happening, it gives that sense of collaboration and continuous improvement. Wherever that lacks, silos starts happening, and it goes in the wrong side. So yeah.
Yeah, and probably it's not just for the engineers, but probably a leadership team also need to go through an intensive understanding of these things, that what are the checkpoints and how to do that, how to make sure that teams is not going through, as you just mentioned, that if that is not happening, it will turn into an effect. So effect is building of silos, so one need to understand that, okay, silos have started happening, so what is the root cause behind building up the silos? Yeah, thanks for answering that question again. I have another question coming from Unyan Bhardwaj, who is asking, in your experience, what are the most critical factors that drive engagement and motivation within high performing teams?
So I think the first part is the connection, like I said, the trust among the members, and their aspiration or passion to reach to the same goal. So it's like, So that is the number one factor that helps engage and motivation. It becomes effortless. Majorly, nobody needs to educate you on that if you have that connection. So you know, it's like if a group of friends are planning to go to Goa, for example, they don't need anybody else's motivation to go there. They know and figure out their own path. And I
Mhm.
give this analogy to my team wherever they struggle, that that's all we need. We just need to show that, and the passion will evolve from there. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for answering that. I have another question coming from Geeta Gupta, who is asking, what are the common challenges you have faced in building or managing high performing teams, and how did you overcome them?
All right. So, yeah, I'd say, and some people have already asked such questions. So those are the challenges, I think. So, major channels are, there are communication breakdown that happens. There could be burnouts, as mentioned. So, in a healthy
Yeah.
work-life balance, when we try or get unexpected issues coming in, which we need to support on. So encouraging, we need to encourage more time off in that case. So I'm just also telling if there are challenges, how we can try to handle them. uh, we can have even more junior members, a support from the senior staff. If there is a skill gap, we can have some trainings rather than asking them to do on the job. So there could be a dedicated training time given to it. A peer programming is one aspect for developers who are working, so they can sit together and start writing code that will give them more expertise on, for example, their 1 hour work can be done in 30 minutes sitting with a senior, and next time their efficiency is beyond what they used to do. So these are some
Mhm.
things. Some challenges I face is are majorly on the contrary side, when it has reached to some boundaries. So something like we are expecting a fish to fly, so not catching on the strength rather than asking everybody to learn something which are not their strengths. So that is something a leader should understand. Another type of things is identifying the dysfunction in the team, that if some people are avoiding the accountability, or there are not much attention given to the details when a problem is asked to be solved, or lack of commitment. So those are some areas which needs to be sit together in a room and understand if there is something can be done, and there would be many points or where you are able to help them, and if it is not working out, that's where we ask people to move to another team where their expertise can be utilized better. So yeah.
That makes sense. I have another question coming from Suman Kumar. Suman, how do you keep every team member motivated, giving a scenario that every team member is of a different age group and different stages of life?
Great question. And uh, when I share this opinion, I I would not count myself as that I am able to do that 100% perfect. Uh, but motivation is, like I said, if there is a sense of purpose and autonomy that team is able to achieve, they already get motivated to do that. It is majorly the struggle on small and nitty gritty things rather than a long term goal of the team or long term career growth plan of individual in the team. So if that doesn't get hindered, it is just the nuances of a week or a month which keeps developing on unless it is addressed. So every team member actually is ready to help. By default, everybody is genuine. So that's where I start my thought from. And in different stages, if we give that exposure to everybody in the team, they start helping each other. In major cases, that's how it is. It's just that we don't talk about it much and create those grudges in our mind. That's where we lose the battle.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true that we need to understand, though the age groups are different, but probably the trust and autonomy remains the same. And there are some common fundamentals as a human being that are going to remain the same. Yes, I have series of question. I'll see. I'm just trying that how, in the best interest of time, we can include the most. And Anup Verma is asking if you don't mind sharing. So he is have a precautionary measure. Then can anyone share it? Can you share a team failure and what lessons were learned from that experience?
Great question, Anup. So, and I don't mind sharing. So, failure definitely is going to happen if you're trying to experiment and grow. Uh, uh, so I am able to share all these experience because I've seen some failures in my life, and it started from uh, when I was given an opportunity to lead a team where that team was already autonomous, right? So they were trying to solve their problem on their own, and when I came there, I was a new manager then, long back, so I tried to take control, right? So, and while doing that, and now I realize back and regret. So when I was doing that, it was like I'm trying to tell them how things are supposed to be done. To some extent, I was trying to educate them, but it created a resistance because the trust was lost, and everybody in the team really rebelled out and uh, didn't do intentionally what was good for the product which they were doing earlier. So so from there only I learned the lesson that trust is the number one thing. So first we establish the trust, have them work on what they are doing, and then only groom them, because your expertise will only count if there is somebody to listen to them.
Sure, sure. That makes a lot of sense. I have another question coming from Ravi Singh. What can be done to have better collaboration and communication between cross-functional team? Anything specific to the cross-functional team? Because I think, but we have answered the first part. Otherwise, within a team.
Right. Specifically for cross-functional, I think the group level objective should be clear enough. And if the cross-functional doesn't have a communication channel, uh, so we should establish that, and even define the criteria or to be more effective. So for example, if there what we have a team of architects and team of developer, so this becomes a cross functional. So collaboration wise, we cannot involve all 20 or 50 member together to have every discussion. So there are points that when to reach out to the other team and have that candid conversation. Otherwise, Slack I find is a great way where all the communication is there and anybody in their free time can sync up themselves. So yeah.
Yeah, thanks for answering that part. And for the benefit of our audience, down below you will see the LinkedIn profile of Mr. Anurag Singh, so you can follow his profile and get these kind of bites, and you can connect with him if you have any specific question. There are a couple of questions in the pipeline. I'll make the maximum utilization of time so that we can get the answers. But in case your question remains unanswered, so you can follow him or tag him in your question so that he can answer. Probably take out some time here and there and answer your question in that text. Also, do share your learning from the session today. Like you can comment always does not only mean question. You can also comment your learning from the day or your appreciation for the knowledge that you have got for the day. So probably you can your comments can follow up from that perspective itself. I'll pick up the next question from Lakshya Munjal, who is saying, in your opinion, what is the best way of doing sort analysis? So do you explicitly do the sort analysis, and if yes, what is your way of doing it?
So I have done it. It's not like a regular thing for me. So when I'm trying to initiate some project or really uh, create a team from scratch, probably I start doing that. Best way, I don't know how deep I should go there. So it's like you just need to structure your thought and the need for which you are trying to do this SWOT analysis, I would say. So there's no point identifying a weakness as a bad handwriting if you are typing something, you see. So so
Yeah,
it really depends and stay in the context, because majorly my way of is like you just write top 5 things for each criterias, and that should be it. And if in your rough draft you have written 30 of them, you just choose top 5 from there, because after 20 you start really getting into the real strength or real weakness. Otherwise it is normally just something coming into my mind, and I start blaming some other people or team or product or whatever for that. Once you have done all of that, after number 20 you will really get to a reason, and from there probably you'll get the top fives. So yeah.
okay, that makes a lot of sense. Meha Jain is asking, how can we balance individual autonomy with effective team collaboration? Because sometimes people may say that, okay, I have this preference and that preference, and then it if it hinders the team collaboration, and especially I think with the hybrid team now, people working for different locations, especially things that dynamics have changed a lot.
Right. So my suggestion to Meha will be that if we are looking for individual autonomy without team collaboration, then probably uh, we should be good working in silos. Don't even try to do team collaboration. But if we are trying to do it with team, then individual autonomy is the strength which will make a high performing team, I'd say. So maybe I sound like I'm playing with words, but that's not really the intent. What I'm actually trying to say is individual autonomy grows with the team. And if you see the enterprise working with so many people get success because of team collaboration, individual autonomy is only helping the 30%, and rest 70% is really the team that making it happen. So yeah, it's the army who wins the battle, not the soldier only. So yeah.
Makes sense. In the interest of time, I think this is going to be my last question, because somehow I also wanted to ask the same. So Anil Kumar Singh is asking that how can a team ensure that they stay focused on a long-term goal or project while focusing on the short-term day-to-day deliverables?
Great question. So yeah, this is the trade-off of any team that is functioning. So I think it's a trade-off always, and that if you have heard those quadrants of urgent, important, not
Yeah.
urgent kind of thing. So majorly your long-term goals will stay in important side of things, uh, and not urgent side of things. So if you can really free up your urgent and important part, you will always have time to work on long term goals. So we just focus on that. We don't have 100% bandwidth allocated to the short term day to day deliverables, because those are the things which is helping you to achieve your long term. They are not separate. So, yeah.
Yeah, thanks for answering that question. I have taken some more of your time than I actually asked for, but I really appreciate. I have some other couple of questions in the pipeline, but in the interest of time, probably we need to close our Vector Skiller Tech Talk for the session today. Before we conclude, Anurag, any last message to the audience that as an individual or as a software engineer, not just a leader, what they can do differently to become a better person or a better engineer? Any last message?
So yeah, bottom line is, guys, this corporate culture or software engineer team is nothing different from life. So the way you behave in life is how you can behave there. There are no additional factors that should come into your mind. So if it is natural, it will progress well. So process is there to help you. Don't get overburden yourself to follow the process. So yeah.
Thanks. Don't overburden yourself. Your personal life is equally important, and the success mantra could be the common thread, common platform between the two. It's not different that personally something is different and professionally there is other thing. That's a beautiful message and powerful message. With that thought in mind, thanks Anurag again for sharing your pearls of wisdom and your time with our team and our viewers to get all this information. We are really really humbled by getting all this information. Thank you very much.
Same goes here. Thank you, Vikas, for having me. Loved doing this. So I appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
we see commendation coming from the people. And again, thanks people. It is you who are the core behind this Vector Scaler Tech Talk. Your inspiration, your messages, and your motivation keeps us inspiring. Thanks. Keep doing the same and keep attending our more and more program. Thank you. Bye bye. Have a nice day ahead. Keep learning, keep growing.